Hi everybody, welcome to a screencast that's going to review the syllabus for you. I'm Terry Lassane. I'm the instructor for Literature for Young Adults for the spring of 2016, and I want to, in the next several screencasts, go over some important material that should help you get underway when you are ready to begin work on the course. This is the syllabus. It is at LiveBinders already up as a link there, and it will be also at the Blackboard site once Blackboard is open to you. But I'm putting these screencasts up a little early so that you can get started should you want to do so early. This information is just kind of general information for the course. The important information for you comes up next. Here is my contact information. I'm Dr. Lassane. The last name rhymes with insane. That's how you keep it in mind. This is where my office is. These are the office phone and the fax number. And these are my two email addresses here on campus. You only have to send to one. I will get it, but just in case, I'm giving them both to you. I do check my email a lot during the day. So generally speaking, unless I'm on a plane somewhere and out of pocket, you can expect to hear back from me within 24 hours if you send me an email. I try to do that sooner, but that is at least the outside time. My office hours are on Tuesdays. That's when I'm in the office on a regular basis. I usually get here about 8 o'clock. It says I'm here till 4, but I'm actually here usually until 5. I'm also going to have some online hours this semester on Tuesday night where I will be online. You can be in touch with me. We can Skype if you want to. We can do a Google Hangout, but I will be available to you in any event. Course description, I'm not going to read to you. This is all about young adult literature, and hopefully that will all be clear to you as you begin to look at the textbooks and look at the required reading for this semester. I do have here the IDEA objectives at the end of the semester. When you evaluate me, you do so on a form that's called IDEA. We just call it IDEA. These are the objectives that I think are essential, that you learn to apply course material and that you develop specific skills needed by librarians out in the field. I have some important objectives there as well, but the two most essential are right there. There's one textbook for the course. It's written by yours truly. It's called Making the Match, the Right Book for the Right Reader at the Right Time. You can purchase the book new from the university bookstore or from the publisher, which is Stenhouse. You can also publish it from Amazon or any online bookseller. It's also available used. It is available in Kindle edition as well. You can also see if former students wish to sell their copies via LibSci, our listserv. And you should be able to share this textbook and the trade books if you live close enough to folks that you can kind of swap out books. What I really want to do in this first screencast, though, is go over the required reading for the course. You will read over the course of a 15-week semester 25 young adult books. I know already some of you are freaking out, but I need to tell you this is totally doable. These are books for young adults. Many of them will read very quickly. A few of them will require a little bit longer in terms of reading. But if you set aside several hours a week, which you should be doing for a graduate course, you'll have no trouble at all covering the required reading for the course. There are 11 books that everybody will read. They are required. I'll get to the other 14 books and what requirements they need to meet in just a moment. But you are all going to read Sherman Alexie's The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. It's a National Book Award winner, and it is also one of the few young adult books that has a Native American as the main character. And it deals with racism, it deals with prejudice, it deals with bullying. It deals with lots of the same topics that kids today are facing in their own lives. You're going to read Laurie Holt Sanderson's Speak. It is a Prince Award winner. It also was a National Book Award finalist. And it is the story of Miranda, who just prior to entering high school is raped at a party and doesn't know how to talk to anyone about it. She basically loses her ability to speak. And this is a story about how she deals with what has happened to her and how she gets the courage to learn to speak again. You're going to read C.C. Bell's El Deafo, which was a Newbery Honor book from last year. It is a graphic novel, and basically it's a fictionalized memoir of C.C. Bell growing up with basically being almost totally deaf. And in this graphic novel, you'll see what it is that hearing impaired kids need to deal with. And of course, part of it is the nickname. If you see any similarity here, you're going to see a lot of these books have to do with bullying, because it's just absolutely prevalent in the lives of young adults. Nancy Garden's Annie on My Mind is up next. And by the way, these are just simply listed alphabetical by last author. You may read them in any order you want, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a future screencast. Annie on My Mind made it all the way to the Kansas Supreme Court, where they ruled that it had to be replaced on the school library shelf. It has been an ongoing target of censorship because it is one of the first novels that deals with GLBTQ. And you can see the date on this is 1982, so you understand that books that feature characters who are gay, lesbian, transgendered, that's not new. And they certainly always are books that are challenged, and I want you to be aware of this one. It is an exquisitely told story. One of the new books on this list is Alex Gino's George. George is about a fourth grader who is trans. She feels that even though her name is George and people think that she's a boy, she self-identifies as a girl. And because of that, of course, complications arise. The good news in all of this is that people are accepting. She has a friend who is totally accepting of her. And when she finally talks to her parents about who she thinks she really is, who she knows she really is, they are accepting as well. This is a beautiful middle grade novel that broaches a really important topic. Nonfiction is up next with Roby Harrison and Ed Emberley in It's Perfectly Normal. This is a book that talks about growing up, sex, sexuality, all those kinds of things. And as you might imagine, it too is on the banned book list on a pretty regular basis. This is one of the books that was mulched on the steps of the Montgomery Public Library, which is my public library, because people think that these kinds of books should not be accessible to kids. Walter Dean Meyer's Monster is next up. It is the first ever winner of the Prince Award, and it deals with a boy named Steve who is on trial, accused of participating as a lookout in a robbery that ended in a homicide. There are two other forms or formats or versions of Monster. One is a full cast audio recording, and the other is a brand new graphic novel version of Monster, and you are free to read either of those. Read with your ears, read the graphic novel, but I think that you will particularly appreciate this first ever winner of the Prince Award. Patrick Ness's The Knife of Never Letting Go is the first in a trilogy of books set in a dystopic future. If you liked The Hunger Games, I believe that you will like this even more. It is, I think, my perspective, a lot more literary. I enjoy Patrick Ness's writing. I think he's a very uncompromising author. Gabby, A Girl in Pieces is relatively new to my list, as you can see, 2014. And it won a Pura Belpré honor for books by Hispanics about Hispanics, and also was one of the Morris finalists for Best Debut Novel. There are so few Hispanic authors writing for young adults that when we find one that is as well done as this, I'm always happy to add it to the required reading list. Persepolis by Marjane Sartrapi is also a graphic novel. It is also one that has been challenged quite a bit and on the banned book list, and I think when you read it, you will see why. This graphic novel, unlike El Deafo, is done totally in black and white because of the incredibly dark and intense situation in which we find ourselves as readers. And finally, required Jackie Woodson's Brown Girl Dreaming. This is a novel in verse. It was the National Book Award winner. It was a Cybert winner. It was a Newbery Honor. It won so many medals that if you were to put them all on the cover of the book, you wouldn't be able to see the cover of the book. And it is basically Woodson's memoir about growing up wanting to be a writer and all the things that stood in her way. So those are the 11 books that are required. In the next screencast, I'll talk to you about the choices you have for the other books.